Another thing that's popular out there is something called SAQ. It's a self-assessment questionnaire. So it's a self-evaluation tool. This is the tool that you can actually go in yourself and self-assess yourself. So it depends on your category type, you know, how you process your payment data will determine the kind of self-assessment questionnaire you will use. Can we all type SAQ real quick if you don't mind, everybody? SAQ. So we've talked about two things, AOC, all right, and SAQ. So I know mostly when we talk about PCI DSS, we're just thinking of the assessment of the controls around it, but there's a final report you issue out, AOC, then there's a questionnaire you internally check yourself, right? So if I am processing credit card information internally, I should also check myself and evaluate myself also, okay? So another one is called report on compliance, So mostly if you bring a third party assessor to come in, you know, then they will issue a report on compliance. Can we all type ROC real quick? Report on compliance, if you don't mind. Report on compliance. I know it's a lot of OC, okay? There's AOC, ROC, then the self questionnaire also, right? But these are just part of it's a documentation, series of documentation that comes when you do PCI DSS. Okay, let's take it again. PCI DSS assessment is done. When you do the assessment, you issue an AOC, all right? Then if it's done by a third party, it's the issue ROC, then you can do a self questionnaire yourself, which we talked about earlier on also, so um, so we can have a self-assessment questionnaire. So you can see how the process looks like here. Let me just quickly show you guys real quick. Number one, it's for the ROC, you do an in-depth assessment. So technically today, you guys will see us do some assessments as we get into the details of walking through different questions and assessing what we think the maturity level is. Because sometimes the response you get will determine and make you feel, oh, okay, is this really matured or is not? You can really tell based on the response. Because what normally happens is that you're not the one, you're not the qualified assessor. However, here's the deal. Before the qualified assessor come to your organization, you want to do a readiness assessment. What that simply means is that before these guys come in, I, as the GRC analyst or cyber analyst, I'm getting my organization ready for that assessment, meaning I need you to be prepared so that whatever assessment that is done, we win. They are ready. I've prepared my team before the assessment actually takes place. Okay. So again, you remember the reason I'm drumming this is sometimes we have to understand choosing the right document. What exactly are the documents? Let's do a quick quiz. Can you list some of the documents typically within your PCI DSS? Let's go. Tell me some of the documents within PCI DSS out there. Let's see. What are some of the documents within the PCI DSS? Let's go. Love it. Thank you. Here we go. Love it. Here we go. Okay, good. And I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. You won't even remember which one is which. Okay. So let's take it again. PCI DSS, we have AOC, we have the ROC, then we have the SQR. Those are the big ones out there. Okay. Now, when we get to the assessment piece in a bit, you'll be confident about it. I know that. So don't worry about that part of it. So it's not a big deal. Okay. Let's go into key benefits of PCI DSS. For most organizations, it builds enhanced security. Your security is more robust because you've benchmarked it to some of those key security controls in PCI DSS. It's built customer trust and improve your customer relationship. Most organizations feel comfortable if you tell them you guys are in PCI DSS compliance because I would feel confident that you guys you're constantly checking your security controls within your organization. So that gets me much more confident about what you do, really, at the end of the day. So another thing we can agree is it's not optional. We need to keep maintaining our security compliance. It's an ongoing trend. It's something that is continuous learning for us. So we expect you to, continuously monitor it at the end of the day, right? and we should be proactive. You're not going to wait for a cyber attack to happen. Earlier on, we listened to the video of the healthcare system. There was crazy cyber attack all around. And imagine if what you're doing is proactively trying to react, it's going to overwhelm you. Schools and healthcare has been crazily attacked recently. And it's so overwhelming because these are professionals that just want to do their job. So you can imagine I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor, I'm a pharmacist, I'm a technician, I'm a radiologist, I'm coming to work, I'm good at what I do. Now I have to deal with, I can't even use devices, I can't use MRI machine, I can't use my, medical record information. It is overwhelmingly stressful, very stressful. I mean, of course, frustrating also. A lot of people now have to be paid manually, their payroll have to be done manually. So it's just overwhelming, right? So taking a proactive approach is always a very smart way to go about it in general. All right, what about the financial impact? At the end of the day, if you have significant breaches, then think for a second, you're going to lose money. Then not just that, think about the regulators. These guys are not going to play games. They're going to fine you big time. Sometimes the penalty are so significant that it can even lead to potential bankruptcy. So it's serious stuff. If patient health information is compromised or personal identification information is compromised, then we are talking about these are serious, serious issues that can really become so big within any organization at any point in time, right? Then, of course, the legal liability, the loss of customer trust, and it's just unending the potential risk involved in it. What are some general resources for PCI DSS? Of course, there's a Security Standard Council that provide oversight materials for it. There are industry partners that also help in general. So these are some general roadmap around PCI DSS, making sure you have understanding of the level of appropriate compliance required for you, have policy develop, implement security control, always do vulnerability scan and check, and make sure you follow the right procedures for cybersecurity within your organization. So another big thing is understanding the scope of compliance. Let's pause for a second. Think for a second. Let's think together. When you go to that store and you bring your credit card, debit card to make a payment, let's think. Let me open the floor. Let's even forget cyber for a second. Let's just think together and say you go to a store to buy grocery and you're trying to scan. Can we think and write it down? Tell me some of the risk that could potentially be around you by just swiping that card. Let's think together. Can we type? Tell me. Let's just think. What are the potential risks? Because sometimes we think it's some complex thing. Somebody, I love it. Oh man, I love it. Identity theft, credential theft, even at the gas station when I'm trying to buy stuff, financial loss, privacy, shoulder software. You guys are too much. Allows a shoulder software, skimming, unauthorized storage of card, CAG network interception, duplicate terminal, card skimming. There is so much tons of things that can happen, to be honest. Let's think together, really. I mean, without even thinking of cyber in your mind, I'm thinking already, wait a minute, identity theft, my information can be exposed, somebody can spoof it, shoulder software. There are so many things that can really happen by just thinking of, scanning my card. So you can see the value why we need a body to focus for us and help us to provide our oversight and guidance in general. It's a no-brainer. Then the system and network. Okay, let's say you and I can control ourselves and prevent shoulder surfing, put the right password and all that. What about for the system and network? What do we do then? Can we control that? You know, how do I know the system has firewall? How do I know they have the right security around the system that is processing this tool? I wouldn't know that, right? Let's think together because those are big deal also. So it means the system, the configuration, the way they set up their network, all of those also, even though I don't have privy to the details, but I expect them to have establish best practice for those systems too. Then personnel training. I hope you've trained your personnel, the folks that are responsible for all of this whole thing. I hope they've been trained at some point, right? Then the big bad monster at times, vendor management. Even if my team is so good, they know what they're doing, they are very proactive. What about the vendors? What about vendors I cannot control? Yes, I can control myself, perfect. But what about the vendors I cannot control? You know what I mean? So it's yes, I can control myself. I can figure out my organization. But what about the vendors internally within your businesses that are helping you that you have no control over? So, do we have a program to figure out how your vendors are handling your customers' record and data and financial information? That is also a big deal. Okay.